Welcome to Trading Lounge and the global indices, starting with the SPY here, because on Friday we talked about a push up, and we should see a push up fairly firmly because of blue wave 1 and 2 and green wave 1 and 2 and so on. So that's pushed up there nicely. So the next level is the 430, which is the top of group 1. So we can expect the market to consolidate around this level. So pretty much pushing up, giving us a classic trading levels pattern at this level here. So it should push up higher, but also stall here for a while before pushing up higher. So we can look for a pattern like this at that particular level. Now we used the SPY because it was just nice and clean rather than the futures, but we'll go over to the futures now. So the 4-3 here obviously is the 4-3 here as well. So what I want to talk about here for a moment is that 4-3 is the 61.8% retracement level from the whole top of the all-time high. And when we're working with a number, we always look for group 1 and group 2 below that. And that will be the swing range for this market. So if you're going to hold long, you have to expect the market to, in its own way, I'll just do this very simply, to vibrate here for a while before pushing up higher. Now it can come down a bit lower as well, all of that before pushing up, but that's really what you'll need to do if you're long at this point here. Also, what I need to do is also just talk about the bigger picture. So this is the the intraday picture here. So I would suggest just really holding long through all this, but this will be quite time consuming here. So just be a little bit mindful of that. So we're going to have a look at the bearish count, and then we'll have a look at the bullish count. And the bullish count, we have 2 counts for that, 3 actually. Yeah, we'll take a look at them. There's no harm done. So we want to go to the bearish count first. Let's get the bad news out the way first, shall we? Then we can have a look at the good news. So the negative count would be wave A here with an A and a B and a C wave over here. This is the 61.8%. Look, can it go to the 78.6 and all that? Of course it can, So in counting it to the upside here, this was the conservative count of 1 and 2 and 3 and A and a B and a C for wave 4 here, and then 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up here for the 3rd, 4th and 5th. So there's still a bit of a journey for this to finish off here for that. So that will be, we'll just keep a bit of an eye on that. And in terms of also the bearish count from 50,000 ticks to 1,000 ticks too, if we want to just drill in here as 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, yada, yada, yada. So basically still spending time at the 4,300 area for that. Now, on the bullish count, we're going to have a look at a few of those. I'm going to show you the worst one at the moment, which is probably not right, but it's here anyway, which is 1 and ABC for 2 here, and then 1 and 2 up here. But I don't think that's the case because of the consolidation here. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So we can pretty much forget about this, but I've got to show it because we talked about it before, but I'll be getting rid of that. Now on the bullish side, let's just go to the weekly chart here for a moment. Where's that? All the way down here. So now this count here just simply looks at the A wave, the B wave and the C wave here for wave 4. In the bigger picture, if you want to look at a take on some of the Nasdaq stocks like Meta Platforms and Netflix, Tesla and those sorts of things, well then you can quite easily look at this as wave 2 at this point, okay? Rather, now I know that that would be, folks would say, no, that's just not right, Pete, because of what's going on in the world and all the rest of it. But I always understand you always get the opposite of what you're thinking, what you expect. So it doesn't really matter at this point either. Like, it's not worth sort of getting sort of all worked up about that situation, because we always just work as one step at a time. Now, yeah, so this is one case to the upside where we would just end up having wave 1 up here and coming back for wave 2 and then sort of moving up there higher in that regard. So that's doable. The other count too, which we can have a look on the daily chart, is putting wave 2 over here and wave 1 and wave 2 over here. Now the reason for doing that, if I can just go to the, I'm just going to put these back because I just don't want to forget that now I'll just go to the daily chart for that. And the reason for doing that is pretty simple in my mind, is that this March low here, right? If I go to Apple, now Apple's pretty much the core of the Nasdaq to a point. So this is the wave count for this market, and if I can just bring in a bit more data here, it's just that we're taking out the top here now, right? So I just don't need these here anymore. Can't put too many objects on the chart, otherwise it chucks a wobbly. But basically we're taking up the top here, so there's, Nvidia's done the same as well and so on. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is that this would be the basic count here that we'd be looking at. So a wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and then up for a wave 5, and then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave 2, and then moving up here into wave 3 at that point. Okay, so that's the count. But the reason that I would like to fit the SP 500 into this count, and this low here is also the March low, or March 12th, 14 here. So basically 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, a little bit out of whack, but still those March lows there. And then we're heading up into wave 3 over here with wave 4 here. That's not just done just yet, but I don't want to go into that. You can watch the stock video today for that. But yeah, this 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Now, obviously, this market has moved out quite nicely, and obviously Nvidia's moved out even quicker. Other markets have moved along slower, but in their own way, they've all got the same sort of pattern here. So we've got those March lows sitting here for that. So that does make it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. And then we could look at this as 1 and 2 here as well. So we should start to see this move along quite nicely. As well, wave 3 could do two things. It can either move really quickly, or it can creep to the upside like this market has done, but it was leading to the upside as well. So it was like building block in there, So, but anyway, this would be the same thing as Apple in that regard. So we'd be looking in one way or another. We'd be looking as wave 1 and 2 here, and then moving up higher at that point. So they're the two bullish counts for all of that. Just coming back to the intraday for a moment. From the top to the bottom here, the 61.8% is at the 4,300 roughly. And let's just have a look at where the 78.6 is, just while we're here for a moment. So, it's a 61. Oh no, yeah, no, that's right. 61.8%, 65, and way up here for that, which would kind of be about right, But the 61.8% has got the old B wave high here as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it handles that, being the wave third of the third here, moving through this. So anyway, they're the bearish counts, they're the bullish counts. I would probably have a bit of a bias towards the bullish count. I've always had that, but I could never really been able to prove that. But when you start looking at stocks that are taking out the top, like Apple and Nvidia and so forth, you can kind of sort of get that sort of feeling, but I won't get lost in the hype of it all either. We'll always just move step by step, and the next step is actually establishing a support on the 4,300 with a classic trading levels pattern like that. So that's going to take a good few sessions to do that, to build support on top of this last high over here for that. Alrighty, so the Nasdaq. So no real change here. Last time we spoke, we're building wave 4 to the 5 to the upside here. What I also want to just say here as well is that we're approaching 15, which is a major level, a medium level, so I'll carry a fair bit of weight with all of this. This wave 4 can pull back to this wave 4, but I don't think that's the case. Let's just see. This bothered me down here a little bit. I wasn't sure to count this as wave 1 or 2 here. If that's 1 and 2, 1 and 2 here, then we can just push up a little bit further. But the normal thing is that when we've got 15 here, we can look at group 1 above that. So 100 roughly, 200 roughly, 1, 2 and 3 as I call them, just to keep things really simple. So that's pretty much group 1 above and group 2 below. That's going to be the swing range for us being at that space. Now what we want to see here is we want to see this move up into group 2 here, this thing here, create a bit of chaos here, and then it can push up into these spaces here, and then it will start building that support in this basis here. So this will be the swing range within that 15,000, and that'll push up there. So if you're trading an ETF or something of that nature, then you need to decide what you're going to do once you get to the 15. You know, will you work the trade? Will you, working it by taking money off the top and shoving it back in at the bottom and all those sort of things, or doing nothing is also something, which is pretty hard to do sometimes, isn't it? But that's really sort of where we are here at the moment for this. So this is just starting to, at the 14,500, the 500 here, is trying to establish itself as support with a little classic trading levels pattern in here as well. But this trend here has got a beginning and the middles here and the end here. So we should see it push up a bit further and have some problems at that group 2 area there. But it's just trying to establish support on the old high. So give it a bit of breathing space at that point. And I wanted to bring in the Dow because we talked about it on Friday. We're not really doing it at the moment, but I've always liked it as I've always liked it as going up for 1 here, and ABC back for 2 here, and then up for 1, and got a bit messy in here. But the interesting thing now is that it has finally proven correct by taking that top out here. Now you probably could go a wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C wave up here, and then failing at that point. That's possible. Or it'll be interesting to see what Elliott Wave International are doing with this, because they've been so bearish. They must be under a lot of mental pressure at the moment, seeing all of this sort of stuff happen. But it'll be interesting to see what count they've got. But they'll probably, first of all, WXY this to a point, and then it'll push above here. Then they'll sort of look at this as some sort of A and B, and at some point, so I wonder whether they'll start changing their mind at some point. Anyway, that's that. It's important to keep an eye on all the possible counts, but that's where we are at the moment for this. So this will be 1 and 2 in here, and then this will all be sort of wave 3 up here. So I think we talked about going long above wave 1 there. So if you are, that's all good. Just stay in there. 34 is the next number for that. Over to the Russell. Now this is a bit of a game changer here. So from this last low here, we'll just focus on this. We'll have a look at the bigger picture in a moment. We can have a look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and it looks like 5 waves in here for 1 and 2 here, but I'll probably have to go 1 and 2 again in here because it just doesn't make sense. So this will go up to here, and that can move up to there, and we can push this up here and this up here and this up here. So this now here will become just 1 and 2 again in here for this. And let me just see, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we could go a little bit, like you kind of got to go step by step in a way, but this is not right either. This will be 1 and 2 in here probably. So probably better to look at that as 1 and 2. The third wave here will probably be, if I can just take that for a moment, that's 1, 2, 3. I'd like to push that up even further there actually. Bring this even up here further and have this as 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth and fifth, and have this up here. So it looks like it really wants to push up further. So it should be good to the 1900 up here, because really these are 1s and 2s, and there's no 3s and 4s that have even really started here yet. So pretty good up here further. But we need to have a look at the bigger picture for this and different ways to count it. So let's just go to the daily chart here, I think. So we were viewing this because it was the most bearish count of all, because it had taken this low out through here. But in this instance here now, we just got to take the next logical step. Now, as I said, the market could be bullish from before, as a big bullish pattern, and that would play out with this being wave 1 over here. And we've talked about it before, but it was a bit of a long shot, and then wave 2 over here with an ABC pattern. It was always possible as an expanded flat to kick it off, and it's still possible, but I don't want to go there without a lot of evidence, but realistically, if we're going to look at the SP 500 as, looking at the Nasdaq as being bullish with Apple and Nvidia is not a problem. The S&P that's dragging the banks along, that's a different story. So here we have to be careful as we move along. So the 1900 up here is the 61.8% from the top to the bottom here. So that was a bit of a target to trade to up there. Now, is it correct to look at this as wave 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here? That does count as 5 waves up there. The first thing one would do is to look to put wave 1 here and wave 2 here, then wave 1 here and 2 here. But there is a 5-wave structure within that. So that's pretty good. We can look at this one as wave 3 here and wave 4 and wave 5. So we could get to this area here and fail at this point. I don't think it's the case. I think we've got further to go up, and we can look at, for the short term, we can look at this being bullish back up to the 2000 area for that. And over to the DAX. So with the DAX here, we were looking at, in the bigger picture here, it's also a bit like the Dow Jones, testing the tops over here. Now with this market here, we could look at it, I just counted it up step by step as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And that's okay. So we got to the top and we're watching it sort of roll over, and it sort of rolled over. It hasn't given us 5 waves down from the top, as I've mentioned before. We could look at it as an A wave to here, then an A and a B and a C wave to here. But I don't think that's the case. You can get away with it looking at the futures market, looking for a C wave up here, for it to make a B wave and then a C wave down here, and then moving up. But there's a couple of things here. First of all, this count that I've got here of 5 waves up here is a little bit flimsy. I thought I'd get away with it for a little while because I understood that the market coming into the top here will get sold off, and we'll end up seeing what it is. And we don't quite know what it is just yet, but there's also the possibility of this, whoops-a-daisy, just pushing straight up from this point as well. So that means that how do we recount all of this? I'm not too fussed about it really, because I can't put wave 2 here. It's a bit small and I can't put it here. I need to see a decent wave 2 in here. So that's just not going to happen. So this market is still climbing. As I mentioned last time, we could also put this down. Where's the, that's the March here. So we could go this way with it, as I mentioned before. I'll just copy that for a moment and put that over here. And that would be about that would be the same count as Apple. Now you might think, well, what's that got to do with anything? But markets do, they're, well, it's like humans, we're slightly herd animals to a point. We like to socialize, isn't it? So each market kind of does the same as well. So that's possible. We have to find a count for it, basically, but what we need to do, if I don't know what's going on, we just drill in here and then work it from that point. So that's what we'll do. And but if the other market's going to push up, then we need to keep a bit of an eye open for what can play out here for this. So let's just go to 1000 ticks and we'll just sort of discuss this in a little bit more detail before we go into it and have a look any closer in here. Let's just look at this here. So yeah, this is nice and clean. So we're looking for this being a wave 1 top over here, and if I'd gotten 5 waves down here, then I would have looked at this a little bit differently here. This wave 3, 4, because even if I go back here, this is another point here too, is that just shooting the breeze here for the European markets, is that obviously we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and we can look at this as 1 and 2 here, and I could stretch this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the 3rd wave and ABC for the 4th, and I could put the 5th wave here, a little bit sort of short on that, but still wave 1's not that huge, and the extension's in here. So we've got that blue wave 3. Even if that's a mistake, we could put blue wave 3 over here and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but still end up with wave 4 over here and wave 5 here. So there's no way of actually getting out to think that I can put the wave 4 over here. It just doesn't kind of gel at this point. You know what I mean? I'd have to put the wave 3 up here, but I can't stretch all this up enough within reason to call this a wave 4 over here. So then it kind of like opens up the thing. Well, what's this then? Do we need to look at this as like a wave 1 up here and wave 2 over here? This is the things that I've got to kind of figure out a little bit here, Besides trying to solve the Rubik's Cube of the bigger picture here, what we've got to do here is that we have 5 waves down to here, right? So we could look at this. I mean, when I look at this here, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Not a very nice sort of count. So that would leave us with the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave here for that. And we could put this as the A wave here, B wave over here, and the C wave up here for this. So that would make a larger wave A here, wave B over here, and wave C over here for this. So that's doable, and we can start looking at this here, as wave 1 here, wave 2 here. We can also put wave 1 here, by the way, as well, wave 1 and 2 in here, and build that up from that point. But we can look at all that in a moment. But basically what I wanted to talk about here is that when we do have this 5 waves up here, because that's what we're going to get, right, where it'll either be wave C, and we're going to come down for that point as wave C here, right, which is the A, the B, and the C, or we're going to come up here, and then we're going to come back as an A and a B and a C wave here, and then push up. And if that's the case, then that's where we need to go long from at that point. So the next trade that we're looking for will probably be on the long side, and it'll be over here. And then we can look at this as wave 1 here, and then wave 2 over here, and start trading the 3rd wave up. But we can't move in too early. In the meantime, in terms of trading up here, there's a beginning and there's a middle and there's an end of a trend, and so this is the end of the trend here. So you don't really want to be trading in that, and also too, this large number is going to try to hold the market here. Now there is a good case for this being wave 1 here and 2 here, and looking at this here as the A wave here, the B wave here and the C wave here, because when I look at the DAX on the actual index itself, it has 5 waves down here. And let's just have a bit of a look at that actually. Let's just, yeah, that's it here, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like it's, you know, that's on a 2-minute chart here. So, and this one here is wave 1 and 2 and 3 up here, getting there 4 and 5. So not a long way to go up here on the actual index itself, you know. So if I go to 15 minutes here, so on here it looks like, you know, a nice A wave here, an ABC for the B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Do you know what I mean? It looks quite clean here, but we don't want to go chasing this up, so we just need to be a little bit careful here. You know, we'll look at this as the 1 and the 2, and we'll find the 3, 4, and 5 here. There's no rush for that. And then we'll look for the ABC pattern here. And if that is the case, well, then we can go long above that B wave up top here for that. So we just want to be traders at this point. You know, we'll use the analysis to help us. But if it's no good, well, then we just need to revert back to basics and look for a trade setup around a large number. And that's what we will do at this point. But I was looking at some of the banks, you know, this the Deutsche Bank here, and I can see that there's probably a good case to count 5 waves down here in terms of 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. Just at first glance, I need to get my head around all of that and sort it out. But even if that was 5 waves down here, then the interesting thing here, what I've noticed, this is just a 1-hour chart, is that this move across here is pretty much corrective here. So we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here with an ABC pattern here, you know, so that means that top is going to be taken out. So even worse comes to worse with the Deutsche Bank, because the banks will be important here, this can just simply be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here coming up and then coming back, you know, and having a C wave down here. As an A and a B and a C, or it could be bullish. I need to pull this apart and really do my work on it, but I haven't done that. But I can just see from here that, you know, that we should have another leg to the upside here. So, you know, there's a lot of other stocks that that are in you know, trends to the upside in this market, in that zone, the Eurozone. So yeah, so I think the banks could follow, you know, the DAX could be part of that push coming up here right now, you know. That's what I'm thinking. So I'll leave the DAX as it is, and the FTSE, I don't really have any idea at all, because it's just sort of the move from the last low here, going back up here. I can count 5 waves down here. You could maybe be able to get a corrective pattern out of it, and then I count up here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here. I can count it as 5 waves, but it'll have to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here, which kind of doesn't really work. So I'm getting this corrective wave up here. So it could be that, you know, it could be that we have the A wave here, the B wave up here, and the C wave down to here. See how I've got number 1 here? 5 waves down here, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're having a C wave that hasn't really taken the low out down here or come down and given us that, you know. So it's kind of like I still got to play it out as wave 1 here, and then coming back for wave 2 for this market. The Australian market's much the same as well, but you know, would you call, you know, you've been doing Elliott for a while, would you look at this as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave to here? You know, would you do that? Would that be finished at that point here as an ABC pattern, and then we turn bullish from here? You know, would that be acceptable to you? It's kind of not there. It's a little bit short. The other way to look at it is up for wave 1 and an A and a B and a C back for wave 2. That's probably a better way to look at it here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave down here. That's doable. But either way I look at it, I've never really gotten a good answer for it, you know. So once again here, looks like, you know, with the rest of the markets around the world, that we're going to get 5 waves up here. So what we can do, if we're going to get 5 let's just assume for a moment we've got 1 and 2, and we're going to get 5 waves up here for 3, 4, and 5. Well, then we're going to get an ABC back here. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to buy this this move back here as this B wave. That could also be on the bullish side if we were looking at it as a wave 2 here. That's doable at that point. And then we'll just watch this here, see how this plays out. You know, if it's really sad C wave on, you know, that's got no oomph to it, well, then we'll know that we'll need to get out of that trade at that point, you know. So yeah, a bit two minds about this, but we'll look for this trade once it pulls back at that point. So that's the FTSE, and the Australian market is much the same as well. This move down here is very much like the FTSE, and the only way I can get it to a bearish pattern at this point is looking at it in terms of an A wave up here for 5 waves, a B wave coming back, and then a C wave up here and then coming down. That's the only way I can sort of see that occurring at the moment. It's becoming less and less bearish at this point. Now, I know that I could look at it either as a wave B up here with wave 1 or wave A, and B here for this. I could probably even put wave B over here and have a different count, because the banks have got a bit of a triangle pattern happening when you look at the weekly and the monthly chart for not all the banks, not CBA, but the rest of them. So it's possible. So this has also been a bit of a complicated thing. So we're going to do exactly the same as we're going to do to the FTSE as well. So this can also be the bullish count. We could go to the bullish count. The bullish count would look like this here. We've talked about this before. Once again, the move up here doesn't really count as 5 waves. It counts better as an A and a B and a C wave. So that would probably make it some sort of, you know, A wave, B wave here and C wave up here still for that. But still, I think in terms of trading, what we can do is we can look for the 5 waves up here, right? Find those 5 waves, and when they're completed, we're going to have some sort of pullback here, and that will be our long trade at that point. And we'll just have to get on the bus and see where it takes us, you know. We'll get some other move up here. We'll see if it's a 3rd wave or a third or a wave C at that point. But it does look kind of bullish. And the other interesting thing too is that, you know, the US dollar index is just about to top in my view. So let's just have a quick look at that, because it's really quite central to our market here. So let me just bring this up here, and let me just have a quick look at this here. So we're looking at 2K here. So oops daisy, don't want that. Clean this other stuff up here. So basically, to have the US dollar index have a top in it, if that goes to here and then breaks down at that point, right, then that's going to be a boost for commodities, right? So if I go to the daily chart here for a moment, so this is where it is here at the moment. We're looking for wave 3 or 4 to 5 here, and then coming down. If that may not be correct, but if it is correct, which I think it is, if it is correct, then that's going to push the commodities up, which in turn will push, help lift this up as well here, you know, but we need the banks to be on side as well. Now, I'm happy for the US banks to be positive for a little while, but anyway, we'll talk about those a bit shortly. The US banks, because we've got to talk about CBA and all of those as well. But let's just go into 100 ticks here for a moment, and let's just check on this here. So the only way to look at it as a bearish count is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Now I could put this wave 4 over here as well. That's doable, but it doesn't really matter. It still leaves us wave 1 here. And if we're going to have wave 1 here, then we would need to look at this here as an A wave, B wave, and a C wave up here. But it's going to come pretty high at this point, because I can also see here too, we either have that ABC that we're looking at here, just for day traders now really, or short-term traders, is that we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we could look at that as the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave up here for that. But this looks like a third wave here. So it's more likely that if I can remove that to put the A wave up here, the C wave over here, and the B wave over here, then I would need to look at this here as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, coming into wave 3 here somewhere, and wave 4 and wave 5 here. That could be into this space here, and it's this B wave will come back here. So that would be about it at the moment. But let's just take these. Which ones are not that important? These ones are not important. Let's just have a little look at this here. Just guessing at the moment. We're going to go in and have a little look at this. Well, that's definitely 1 and 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third, fourth, fifth. So that's that one. That's that one. That one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's either the top of the third wave here at the moment, and then we'll have wave 4 here, and then we'll have wave 5. So not a really big. Nothing. You could buy it back at 72 if you wanted to, if it came back that far. Okay, so that would be there for that. The only other count I could see for this would be extending it further up. Let me just check on this for a moment. That's that. The length of that. It just makes it tall enough here. Yeah, okay, so that fits. So we can expect wave 4 and then wave 5 here. It may push up a bit higher here. You could trade that up here. You've got to count the 5 waves up. And that would be that at that point. But really, I think it's this, the next step would be looking at this ABC coming back here, and then this leg here. Will it be a third wave to the upside, or will it be wave C of 2? That's the question that we need to resolve. We won't be able to resolve it, I don't think, just yet. But we do need to be, once that C wave finishes here, we do need to be, we need to be on that boat at that point. That's for sure. So look, you could make some, the follow through on this will be here today to make money on. But anywhere from 252, 265 to the bottom end of group 2, 265, 272 and 280. You want to be sort of locking some money in at that point. And then just be mindful you don't give it back over here for that. I think we'll just need to wait, be patient for that. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.